What is up, everybody? In today's episode of TribeCast, me and the fellas are going to talk about all sorts of things, ranging from Roaring Kitty and GameStop, 9/11, digital marketing, hiring and firing employees, Jeep retrofits, and even rubber duckies, not to mention the plethora of political and influencer meme coins that, in our opinion, are giving Web3 a bad name. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Hey everyone, welcome to TribeCast episode 4. Hey Doc, really fast. Great job on the videos this week, but the Roaring Kitty videos have to be pointed out. Those were a lot of fun. So really fast, who is this guy? Why is he popping off right now?
Wait, you don't know who Keith Gill is?
No, I mean, I don't know these people. I know Doc Doofus. That's my Web3 celebrity. That's it.
Well, you remember back probably, 3 years ago, maybe even 4 at this point, like the beginning of 2021, possibly, when there was that short squeeze on GameStop and it was this big meme stock that everybody was getting behind, and people were buying it, just regular Joe Schmoes, and taking down big hedge funds and all kinds of crazy things. Well, this is like Roaring Kitty GameStop Part 2 that started, I guess, about a month and a half ago, when Roaring Kitty, he went silent for about 3 years and never posted on X, didn't do any more YouTube streams. And then all of a sudden he showed up, showed what his position was in GameStop, and it's been crazy ever since. Now, there hasn't been a lot of big news coming out of GameStop, other than they issued some additional shares. They have a ton of capital that they can invest in. People are talking about them possibly becoming some sort of shell company that invests in other businesses, but they haven't come out and said exactly what they're doing. So everybody's buying this stock, even though the traditional business is in decline, and they need to pivot into something, but they won't tell us what the heck they're pivoting into. But it doesn't matter, because Roaring Kitty's behind it, and he's getting everybody excited, and everybody's jumping in just like a meme coin, because they are speculating on something happening in the near future. We'll see what that is.
Nice. Yeah, and we're going to get to meme coins coming up. That's going to really be our main focus today. But I had sent you a link that I saw that Roaring Kitty guy was doing a master class on, you could sign up for his master class on, I guess it was investing. I didn't go any further than sending you the link from me. But that got me thinking, what would be your master class if you could teach any master class? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be now. Like, you can go back over your life, because I know at different times in our lives, we're dialed into a lot of different things. And is there anything that you were particularly an expert on at any point in your life that you feel like you could have, if this term masterclass existed, you could have run? What would yours have been?
Well, I've done quite a few things after I graduated college. Right out of college, I did a lot of network consulting. So data networks, multi-service networks. So at the time, I helped contribute to a couple of educational technical books. So at the time, I probably could have spoke to that pretty well. It's been a while since I was in that space, so I don't know if I could do it today. But outside of just technical information that's like career oriented, I would have to say, I don't know if you guys know this, but I worked at the Trade Center on 9/11. I was on the 95th floor. I was about 5 minutes away from being on the 95th floor when the first plane hit. So I was there when everything happened, and obviously paid attention to everything that happened that day and over the next few years, from who they blamed it on to Powell getting up and talking about weapons of mass destruction in front of the UN. So I think I could probably give as much information about 9/11 that day and everything that happened afterwards, probably as good as pretty much anybody. Not that I want to, but yeah, if I had to choose, that would be something that I know quite a bit about.
And what about the conspiracies and things that followed? Did you keep up with all of that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, every contradictory statement that came out, or some of the specifics of that day, some of the things that happened that just don't make any sense. I'm not going to get into any of the specifics because I don't want everybody to think that I'm some sort of conspiracy nut. But there's a lot there if you want to peel back the onion on 9/11 and what happened, and as a result of that day, what we turned into, the wars we started, and the police state that we now live under. So yeah, it's been a fun 23 years.
Yeah, that's probably not something we want to get into on this show, but or even this podcast or whatever. But maybe that's a future Tribe Tuesday type thing. That would have been a fun episode to do one time, but not a fun one, but just an interesting one. How about the rest of the group? Chris, Chef?
So masterclass, I would go, for me, it would be on employing people. I enjoy it, and I've come to get good at it over the years. So, and a lot of people in business, it's like the one area that they really dislike is all the HR and staff and everything else. And I think that we have a lot that we could teach people about how to create a great culture and how to really have enjoyment at work and happiness at work, things like that. So I think that's what I would probably do a masterclass on.
I love that answer, but I misheard you at first. I thought you said unemploying people, and I was like, this guy's a maniac. He wants to give a masterclass on firing people. But no, you said on employing people.
No, that's part of it, right? Making sure people are in the right seats at work, and also that they're doing something that they can be passionate about and love to do. So that's part of the science behind it, making sure that you have the right personality for the right type of jobs and things like that. So
yeah, it's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron?
I would say building digital companies, and marketing, digital marketing. So like e-commerce and, just how to leverage social media platforms and search engines for lead generation and product sales online. Nice. Since I live in that world every day anyway, it only makes sense to do a masterclass in that.
Yeah. Kurt?
Yeah. So, I could take one, and I could certainly talk about cybersecurity since I've been doing that forever. But truly, it's fun to me. But if I'm really going to pick something, a masterclass, it's got to be how to build a Jeep the right way. And when I talk about build a Jeep, it's taking it from a standard stock Jeep to building it to whatever size you want, whether it's 35s, 37s, 40-inch wheels. I built 3 of them. And it's different no matter what size that you want to go to for tires. So I think I could teach that class.
That's an awesome one. So do you actually do the work yourself, or
I do?
Just pick up? You do.
Yeah, no. The last 2 that I had, the first one was an 11. Started out at regular stock, moved it to 35-inch tires. You got to change all the drag lengths, basically everything, all the steering components. And then what I learned with my second one, moving to a 37-inch tires, it's a lot more work and a tremendous amount more money, because then you got to re-gear, new brake system because it's a heavier truck. It's all that stuff. So I still do it. I'm on my last build right now. I say my last build, but who knows if it will be my last build, but I'm pretty happy with the last one.
Nice.
Dude, you're full of surprises, Rumpus. I never knew you worked on Jeeps, man. That's
you do it.
That's pretty awesome.
I got a lot of friends that are as Jeep geeks like I am. So, when somebody gets a new Jeep or someone needs work on a Jeep, we just kind of all get together, go to my buddy's house and, lift it up, get underneath, take it apart and figure out how to put it back together. And that's how we learned all this stuff. My one buddy, he's more of the mechanic on the engine stuff. So if we have to tear that apart, I rely on him. But any of the, the steering or I'd say the lift aspect of it, or even the electrical of it, I've done electrical work on all those things, change wiring harnesses. So, I just kind of dabble in that stuff. It's fun.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you part of the whole Jeep duck culture?
I did. Let me figure out how to answer this politically correct.
Okay.
No, I am not. I'm not a big fan of the rubber ducks that get put on Jeeps. Quite frankly, I think it doesn't go on my Jeep. I'll leave it at that. I just don't see I never understood where it came from for the life of me. And every Jeep person that I've seen that has those rubber ducks on their windshield, I always ask why. And then
been able to give me an answer to why. So until someone truly tells me why the rubber ducks go on there, maybe I'll start listening to it. But no, I'm not a fan of that at all.
Dude, no,
You fired up. Go ahead, Aaron.
Now, as I say, we need a rumpus bobblehead on the Jeep. That would sell, man. We might have to add that to the that's awesome. Put that on the Tribe Quokka website store or merch store. Get a bobblehead for every founder and Dante.
Yeah.
Buy your Tribe Q bobbleheads.
So what I'm interested in knowing what happens when you come out of the store and you find one of those ducks on your Jeep. Do you like fire it across the parking lot, or what do you do?
Man, it's a great question, because a lot of my other Jeep geek friends, they said, yeah, I got ducked today. And I've had in my lifetime 3 Jeeps for probably a total of 20 years. I have never been ducked, ever. Crazy to me.
That is crazy, because especially if you're doing custom work, right? I thought that was kind of the point behind it. If you like appreciated the work the person did on their Jeep, or you thought it was particularly cool, you did that. But
when you said that, Rumpus, I thought that you were you sounded a little jealous. I feel like you want to get ducked.
It's funny, I don't, and truthfully, I just don't see the point behind it. But Dante, it's an interesting comment you made. Hey, it's appreciation of what somebody's done for their Jeep. Maybe I got to rethink that duck.
Uh-oh.
So, dude, hold on, I got something here, man.
Wait,
The whole time. Okay.
Hold on, let me finish, and I'll let you go. But there are a ton of Jeeps that have been modded, and whether it's large or they're small, snorkels, this and that. We all have our likes and dislikes, and there are some builds that I really appreciate. I think they've done a hell of a job. It's not just cosmetic, because they start from the inside and move out. So, if I think about it from that respect, then I would actually be okay with it. But no, I don't want to be ducked. I don't want to run ducky. If I am, it will never stay on my dashboard, ever.
Yeah. I agree with you on that aspect of it, because Jeeps to me are always they're among the cooler, tougher vehicles out there, right? And then you see one that's really awesome, and then they've got 15 little yellow rubber ducks across their dashboard. It's kind of maybe if you have little kids, that'd be kind of something they'd be into, but I would find it annoying as an old man that I am.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things, if I talk about Jeeps, and I'll just elaborate a little bit more, everybody takes their this is the other thing that just drives me crazy. I don't understand why people do it with Jeeps. When you take the doors off, right? And everybody wants to stick their foot out of the car while they're driving, so every driver coming the other way can see it. Some of the people, they stick their foot out so far, it's like their whole shin bone is hanging out. I could never understand that one either. So
yeah.
I think the Rumpus should do the end of the 60 minutes like Andy Rooney used to do. We couldn't even complain about something every week.
Chris, you've known me long enough, and man, I'm really good at bitching at things. So if you want to wrap this up, I'm happy. Dude, I'll prepare something perfect when it comes to what to bitch about.
The end of our TribeCast, it should be you complaining about something. Don't you think?
Yes. I love this idea.
It's a great idea. It fits in perfectly.
You guys give me a time limit, and I'll prepare something weekly.
We got to look up what Andy Rooney did. Like whatever.
Rumpus's rants.
Yeah, Rumpus's rants. Absolutely.
So this is a really interesting thing on ducking. So, dude, I love this topic because I always wondered what the heck is up with these. There's Jeeps everywhere. For as long as I remember, I'd always see these ducks on Jeeps. I never knew what the heck it was for, nor did I even care to really pay attention, but it was always in the back of my mind, and now you're talking about it. So this is interesting, man. I went to ChatGPT to see what our AI friend has to say about this. And Jeep ducking, or duck Jeep, the tradition reportedly started in Canada back in 2020 and quickly spread to Jeep enthusiasts all around the world. Jeep ducking is meant to foster a sense of camaraderie among Jeep owners and brighten someone's day with a simple, unexpected gesture and a way for Jeep owners to connect and share a moment of joy. So it's positive, man. Little ray of sunshine.
Yeah, I think that's a good message. I do love that. But, to me, being in a Jeep community is seeing someone else's Jeep and appreciating that. And if I see them near me, I'll walk up like, it's a badass rig or something like that, and talk to them about what they've done and how they do it. I'll take it a step further. I get it, though. I just don't want any ducks on my Jeep. How's that sound?
What's more interesting is that the people that are ducking all these Jeeps have to have a trunk full of freaking ducks. So that's a little bit much, man.
Yeah.
Do you do this? Do you wave to the other Jeep person?
Is it?
Want the honest answer, Chris?
Yes.
All right. So I went through an evolution of the Jeep Wave. And the Jeep Wave is like this. It's always two fingers off the dash or off the steering wheel or out the side if the doors are off, whatever. So when I first got my first Jeep years and years ago, I would do that. My second Jeep, I would do that. Then when I started, all the modifications to it, when I started building it higher, I basically said, I'm only going to wave to other Jeeps that have mods on them. And then everybody started modding their Jeeps. So I said only 35s and above. And then after that, I was like, everybody started doing 35s. I was like, I no longer wave anymore because I'm waving it. I drive from here to McDonald's, which is, I don't know, a mile. I'll see 15 Jeeps. I might as well keep my hand in there, like, keep driving around. So no, I do not. And every one of my friends thinks I'm an ass for not waving.
You're a Jeep hole.
I'm a Jeep hole. There you go. I'm a Jeep hole.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the same thing in motorcycle culture too. You're supposed to, do the down low wave every time you pass one. And I wave at everybody who has any kind of motorcycle. I'll wave at a scooter. I'll wave at someone who's riding a 10-speed bicycle on the other side of the road. I just wave to everyone because I kind of get mad when people don't wave back. So yeah,
I think I'm going to become more friendly now. I got to start waving at anybody from here on today. I'm putting the gauntlet down. I'll start waving at every other Jeep.
You know what? I think we just solved the riddle of why you don't get any ducks because they're probably like, hey, that's the guy who didn't wave to me on the way to McDonald's.
That's the Jeep hole?
Yeah.
That's the Jeep hole?
The Jeep hole.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right. I turned over a new leaf. Chef, based on what you were saying, basically it's a camaraderie. It's a smile. I'm not going to duck other people. I don't want to be ducked, but I'll definitely wave.
There you go. Look at that. All right. Well, good answers, everyone. Chef, I actually was thinking you as our resident expert on health and fitness and dieting and nutrition and all of that. We're going to give me some kind of masterclass on that. But I will ask, how do you feel about bananas as a health food?
Bananas are great in a post-workout shake because you want to get the potassium from that. The more electrolytes you can get, the better. Actually, if you're going to go that far, you want to be able to wake up. The first thing, this is what most people make a mistake on. The first thing people do when they roll out of bed is, well, besides scrolling through their social media, they're not putting any electrolytes in their body, right? So one of the healthiest things you can do just to put your body in a good, state of mind, moving forward with the day is to start the day with a no sugar electrolyte. And there's several out there. Like there's a company called Trace Minerals that has a keto version. There's no sugar and it's really healthy electrolytes. You do that instead of water as soon as you wake up and it completely hydrates your body and gets your brain, especially if people have brain fog in the morning, it clears that up pretty quickly and you can attack your day. But then bananas, yeah, man, post-workout, you just want to avoid all fruit, any kind of sugar first thing in the morning, because in the morning, you're going to spike your insulin levels if you have sugar in the morning. That's the last thing you want to do, because if you spike your insulin in the morning, you're telling your body to store fat instead of burning fat, which means that's not going to really help you if you're trying to lose weight. So not advisable. But after a workout, absolutely, man, add that banana to your protein shake.
Yeah, you want to add it to the protein shake because it helps the protein somehow. What's I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but
well, there's different. You're thinking of absorption. Absorption. But I mean, there's different proteins. I like an undenatured protein, like a protein that's kind of pre-digested, so your body can soak it up a lot easier. Otherwise, it could take a couple of hours for your body to break down the protein. And after a workout, you don't want that. You need something that's going to quickly just punch into the muscle cell, right, to give you that recovery. But yeah, banana has sugar in it, fructose, obviously. So that sugar is going to help drive the protein into the muscle cell a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the banana as a fruit, as an item itself. I don't enjoy a banana flavored item though. Like it's a weird food thing I have. Like one of the, those kind of like hangups people have about like, I just think of I don't eat banana bread. I don't want a banana in my like strawberry smoothie. The thought of a smushed up banana, I don't like it. So yeah, I don't go for any banana flavored.
Banana bread's pretty awesome though, dude.
Yeah,
get some walnuts in there. That's good stuff.
I'll never know. But we are also talking about bananas because we are apparently entering the banana zone in the world of meme coins. Do you want to speak to the banana zone?
Look, I think this is something we've been seeing for a long, long time. We really, I mean, well, we saw it in crypto, back in 2017, I think it was, when, you had like 1,000 ICOs popping off a week, it seemed like, right? And you had all the scams, but it's just like any other cycle, man. We went through the peaks and valleys of NFTs, right? Where there was, I mean, NFTs got a kind of a bad name, right? Because you had so many people that are doing scam rug pull projects versus, what we've done here at Tribe Quokka with having true utility, true community, and a lot of incentive for being part of of that community, of that project. But these meme coins, man, ever since it was Pepe, we were talking about that. Doc was talking about that forever ago when that first popped off on our X Spaces, right? And it seems like ever since Pepe, I mean, obviously you had Doge and that they had, there's plenty of other meme coins before Pepe, but when Pepe really went off, like it was like parabolic, right? Like multiple thousand percentages in terms of gain. It seemed like that was like the pivotal moment where they all started popping off. And there's just so many scams. So when you have, now you fast forward and you have celebrities that are doing these things, yeah, it's going to become a problem. And all I would encourage people to do is obviously do your own research. You'll never see us offer financial advice, but do a Google search. Tom Brady and Sam Bankman-Fried, all right? You're going to get page after page after page on Google of all the TikToks and IG Reels and all the stuff. I mean, FTX paid Brady $50 million, right, to promote FTX. And, there was a massive lawsuit, man, just in FTX alone with A-listers. I think it was somewhere around 11 lawsuits. Tom Brady was amongst one of those, right? Because they represented FTX and encouraged people to buy that. That obviously there was we all know what happened with FTX and, Sam Bankman now serving time in prison. So I think people have to be very careful, whether you're one that's going to launch a meme coin, right? Whether you're famous or not, or if you're somebody that's looking to invest in it, because I think the vast majority of them are rug pulls or pump and dumps. I'd be looking for, true utility, which to be honest is what I was liking where NFTs were headed. Metallica was actually doing this, right? Where if you bought their NFT, which of course you could then sell that in the open market, you were getting like backstage access to their concerts. You were getting merch or, signed autographs from their fan club and stuff like that. You can see where there's a lot of benefit in the music space, especially with a lot of these hot artists out there like Taylor Swift and stuff, the Swifties. It costs you $500 for, a nosebleed ticket to one of her shows. It's like, those types of A-listers could do really well with an NFT. I just don't see the meme coin side of it because where's the utility of that, right? Like they're going to have to own so many tokens to be able to get something in return. I mean, I guess you could argue they could do something creative, but it just comes off as a scam to me. I would much rather see the usage of NFTs. Like to me, that's what NFTs were created for, the utility of an NFT, right? To be able to have something that's verifiable on the blockchain that can give true utility to the owner. And then I can sell that single NFT on the open market, make a profit on it, and transfer those perks, all the different utility that might go with that. Again, using the example of Metallica or anyone else out there. That's what I would love to see. I just think in the meme coin space, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, man. I never jumped on Pepe, never jumped in Doge, and you'll never see me get a meme coin. I think they're all dog shit, to be honest.
Doc, what do you think about what's going on now with celebrities reattaching, I guess you would say, their names to these projects?
I think it's interesting because, like Aaron had mentioned, when all of the celebrities were coming out of the woodwork in 21 and 22, and how that ended, and they were faced with all of these different lawsuits, I would have thought that it may not happen again. And you don't really see a lot of A-listers coming out. Like the people who have come out and have promoted meme coins this cycle are your B-listers. I don't even know if you consider them B-listers. I mean, it's Caitlyn Jenner and Iggy Azalea and Andrew Tate. And, and now you got the DJT where you don't know if it's actually associated with the Trump family or just some scammer that's saying that it is. there's just so many unknowns for all of these meme coins, and it's so easy to spin up a meme coin at this point. Like, I think a lot of it had to do with this new app that came out called Pump.fun, and it's very easy using this platform to be able to launch your own meme coin. So it doesn't take any technical prowess. It doesn't, cost a lot of money. They can spin them up. I think in the month of May there were over a half a million new tokens that were launched in crypto. And I think that's in and of itself is a problem, especially from the outside looking in. A lot of the press you're getting right now is around these meme coins, which, let's face it, it's all speculation. There's no utility behind these things. And the only people that end up making out on it are the ones that launched it and, are able to, they allocate a bunch of these coins to themselves. And then when there's any sort of pump, they can get out and make a nice profit in the very beginning. And the only other people besides them that make any money are the ones that learned about it very early on and were able to get in and get out very quickly. I mean, if you look at, like, just take the two that Andrew Tate and Iggy Azalea launched. Andrew Tate launched Daddy, and Iggy Azalea launched Mother. I think they got into the hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap, and now they're under 100 at this point. So over the past week, it's been bleeding pretty consistently. So if you didn't get in very early, you're most likely holding the bag right now and just were somebody's exit liquidity. So, I feel like it leaves a stain on the industry, because that is a lot of the publicity that you're seeing. People are talking about these meme coins that have no real utility. There's nothing behind them. It's not like a stock or a security where there's a company that's actually building something that is addressing a need in the market. This is all just speculation. It's gambling. And it doesn't matter what the coin represents or what it does. All that matters is who's talking about it. Is it getting buzz on socials? Are people willing to buy it at a higher price? But eventually it's going to, it's not going to work out for 99.9% of the people that invested in those meme coins. So I just feel like I would love it if at some point it just went away, but I think it's kind of ingrained in the culture at this point. The people that are here, those ones that really, took a liking to what was going on, they just, for some reason, they're degenerates that just love to gamble on things for no other reason than to hopefully make a quick buck. And I, at a principle, have always been against meme coins. I understand that it is part of the culture and that people, for whatever reason, just gravitate towards them. But I just feel like it doesn't help the space in a broader sense. When people look from the outside in and see all these things going on and all of these people losing money on these stupid coins that mean nothing, it's frustrating to say the least. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. It is what it is. I have dabbled a little bit in meme coins just because I like to gamble every once in a while, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are betting the house on these meme coins to hopefully make a 10 or 100x. And I don't know if they don't do it, is that putting them in a bad position? I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are stretching themselves thin, hoping that this is going to be like this, lottery ticket for them.
You hit the nail on the head, man, with the word gambling. All right. Because that you can't really just label it any better than that, which makes me think they should actually, tweak the laws around these meme coins and just, I kind of call it dog shit, but to where it has gaming laws wrapped around it, because that's legit what it is. There's nothing else really behind it. It's just the influencer that's pushing it. You mentioned Andrew Tate, right? And obviously that guy has very strong influence. Dante, you were talking about master classes earlier. I mean, that's what really got Andrew Tate on the map, was his masterclass. It was very attractive to, late teen, early 20-something guys, basically trying to, raise boys into men, so to speak, and live in this .com lifestyle to be able to get rich, via an online, business mechanism of some sort. And then, then from there, it was just, he got famous on the internet from all the, how he's against the establishment. But he's somebody that used all that fame and now has a meme coin behind it that doesn't even really have very clearly defined utility. But then again, he's somebody that could have utility because of the fact that he has these online masterclasses and courses, and he does these offshore masterminds at these really exotic islands and things like that. So he's somebody that could probably pull it off. But yeah, they should almost have some online gambling, legislation around it, because you're going to lose your ass at some point if you just sit here and invest in these things and you don't do anything else to diversify.
You had segued into this topic mentioning the banana zone, and I don't even think we ever defined what the banana zone is. So
No,
maybe,
we did not.
Maybe it makes sense to start there. It actually started with was it Raul Paul, or how do you pronounce that guy's name? He actually coined that term banana zone. It's basically part of the crypto cycle when anything can go parabolic, and we have seen that quite a bit with some of the memes that have come out recently. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody that was listening knows that the banana zone and Dante's reference, there was a method to his madness, and that's what it was.
Yes, thank you for clearing up my madness. So what is it that's going to push us into that or away from it? Is it the influencers, or is it the degens?
Well, I just think the influencers are taking advantage of the fact that we have degens in the space that are willing to listen and invest in some of these coins. I think the lawsuits will certainly help at some point again to kind of quell some of these coins coming out at the rapid pace that they are. I don't know, man. It's funny. They go after so many. The SEC and the government in general have gone after so many crypto companies over the past few years, but you don't really see them going after the people that are rugging meme coins. It seems like they just go after the big guys that are going to make a splash in the media, and not necessarily all of these little guys that are nickel and diamond everybody in the space to death. So I don't know. I'm hoping they start going after them. We certainly need some sort of regulation in place. And with that said, I'm not even saying that some of these meme coins are necessarily illegal, or what these influencers are doing is illegal, and they need to worry about lawsuits down the road. They need to. I think the government needs to put out some sort of clear definition as to what is technically a meme coin, illegal pump and dump scheme, right? There's a bunch of different factors, right? What's the specific characteristics of the token? And what's the intent behind the meme coin? Why did they launch it in the first place? And when it is marketed, are they including like potential promises of these huge returns? And is there, if any, future utility in the token? None of those questions are really answered with any of the meme coins that have come out recently. I listened to Andrew Tate X Spaces, I guess, last week, and he's talking about how he can pump it to the moon, and everybody's going to be millionaires. He's trying to get rid of a bunch of people that are paper-handed, and then he's going to send it. He never said why it's going to send, or how it's going to send, or the reason behind why it's worth even sending. It's just that he's going to send it. And everybody that's in the space is like, yeah, send it. I'm going to jump on that rocket and I'm going to make a quick buck. But nobody knows why. Nobody knows the reason behind it, or why it should even send in the first place. We're living in bizarro world as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, he's also a cult. The guy has a cult following. He could say anything. He'll tell you to jump out of a building, dude. They'll do it. You know what I'm saying? It's so individualized based on the person launching it. And I like where they were going with tokens in the past. Like when the ICOs first popped off, that's where people were really trying to get everything classified. Are you a utility or a security? And as we all know, if you went out as a security, there was a lot of regulation that was going to be thrown at you, and a lot of money in legal was required for you to pop that off. Versus if you were a utility token, there was like no cost. You can launch an entire token, well branded, website, back end tech, all the stuff needed for under $100K. And if you think about that, somebody that could get those funds together, and that includes putting together the circle of friends and everybody to do, the pump action on that, like all the stuff that we read about, over that time period, to where they would be generating tens of millions of dollars for a very small investment. And have we not learned from all the scams from back then? Why is the regulation not really hitting, today, where it should be the same thing? Let's define this. Are you a utility? And if you're claiming you are, what's the utility? Like, let's clearly define it. Because if you're not, well, I'm playing roulette here, right? So you're going to be a security, or like I was saying, maybe have some kind of regulation around it that it's like gambling. That's exactly what it is. It's a guaranteed pump and dump.
So we talked quite a bit about meme coins, influencer pumped meme coins, but we've talked about the legal ramifications, but maybe it makes sense to switch the conversation and talk about the political ramifications, specifically the meme coin that came out recently, Donald J. Trump. It's DJT is the ticker symbol. Supposedly there is some I don't know, what's the guy's name? Martin Shkreli, that claims that Barron Trump created DJT crypto token. So a couple of questions come to mind. First off, who in their right mind in the Trump family would try to launch a meme coin this close to an election coming up? If they didn't have anything to do with it, this Martin guy is in really big trouble. He is coming out and claiming that he has thousands of pieces of evidence that prove that Barron Trump is part of this DJT meme coin, but he hasn't shown anything. It's all kind of hearsay at this point. So if it's not true, I can only imagine the legal issues he's going to have in the future. But let's say that it is true. Why would they go about launching a meme coin? If Barron's involved, did he tell his dad? Like, I would assume no, because his dad probably would have told him, and all of his dad's lawyers would have told him not to go down this route, because you're going to put your father in a precarious position come election season. But then in the same breath, it's like people were talking about Trump, and it has something to do with crypto, and people in crypto like the fact that Donald Trump is willing to, consider crypto being a part of, the mainstream. And, so is bad news, is bad publicity really bad publicity, even if it does turn out to be true? I don't know. It seems like every time anything happens to Donald J. Trump, he ends up smelling like roses at the other side. So I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I'm curious to see what everybody else's perspective is on it. Do you think it's a good idea if they are involved? And how do you think this is all going to play out?
Martin has himself a bit of a negative track record run. Back in 2017, he was convicted in a federal court of 2 counts of securities fraud, 1 count of conspiracy. I mean, the guy has a criminal past. All right. And, Brett, you just said it, right? I mean, Trump's got enough problems on his own. I mean, the guy's been in the crosshairs of, not just the left, but also, rhino Republicans since 2015. This guy has to be more squeaky clean than anyone, and even then they're attacking him. Barron, I feel like it's just because of his age. There was back in 2015, the left tried to go after him hardcore when Trump first ran for president. I think back then he was 12 years old, and then out of nowhere, I think it was the legal team that came in. They shut that down. No one ever even mentioned Barron Trump because he was a minor. There was a lot of legal repercussions that would come from that, right? Had they continued that. And now here's Barron Trump. He turned 18 years old back in March, just this past March, 2024. So now it's open season. Anybody can say whatever they want about Barron. They're not going to get, really in trouble. I think we've already seen that, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. But during these election seasons, there's a lot of lies and misinformation that go on, and there's never any, any kind of like legal recourse, right? Where anybody has seemed to historically get in trouble for saying something that's untrue. We've seen that. So, and it's all about the headline. If they can get it out of the gate where, hey, Barron Trump is involved with this guy who was federally prosecuted. He's a full-blown criminal. Now we can say, okay, Barron, the youngest, son is now a criminal, which, layers over, makes me think about Hunter Biden, right? The whole Hunter Biden laptop thing, when that went down during the last election. and it was talked up to be misinformation. It was a bunch of BS. It was like implanted from Russia, like all the stuff that we all know about. But fast forward, it turned out to be true, right? And that piece of information, how that was buried in the media. There's a lot of data that shows that had people known that was a real thing and it was true, it could have, I'm not saying 100%, but could have impacted the election where Trump would have won over Joe Biden. So I just think at this point in time, now that we're in this election season, that the Democrats are going to do anything they possibly can to take down Donald Trump, because the polls are all pointing to Trump. But I would like to think that, Barron has a history of being an incredibly smart individual. He's incredibly polished. He has no negative track record whatsoever. And he's very tight with his family. I mean, that's something that's in the media. He has a very close relationship with his mom and Donald Trump, his father, and then everybody else in the family. So he's going to be, vetting any possible business venture out that he can do, that he's going to do. And the moment that Martin comes up in that vetting process, do you honestly think that the family lawyers are going to let him do a meme coin? Or would he even jeopardize the whole presidency by going in bed with this guy when he's a known felon? Yeah, I just think it's far-fetched. I think it's misinformation. Anything that the radical left can do to try to take down Trump in the election. That's my view.
Yeah, look, I can't add as much as Chef's going to add to that, but I mean, I don't believe that he's part of that, because again, with Chef, everything that he said, I just don't see how he can do that without his dad finding out and all of that. It's just too close to the election. There's too much risk involved with it right now. And I just don't think he's going to want to put that himself in that. And I don't see anybody in Trump's family going away from what he wants to do, and almost like a dictatorship from that perspective. And I'm not trying to make this political. I just don't see that from a credibility standpoint, that he's going to allow himself to do that. Now, on the other side, which does make me pause, is nobody has come out and said, no, Barron is not part of this, not anything, which is kind of weird. I think you would want to at least separate yourself as far away as you can with that coming out. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. That's really all I'm going to say. I mean, I think Chef added a lot of value from that perspective.
Roger Stone came out. So he was a former political consultant to Donald Trump, and said that he basically shot down all claims that the Trump family was involved with this. Okay. And that was mentioned on June 20th. That was the only thing I really found in that. I'm not sure if anybody else came out to shoot it down, but he was the political consultant to Donald Trump.
Yeah. So then on that side, what does the other guy get out of that by saying he's part of it? I mean, that's just, the liability issue on that is outstanding.
But let's go back to the history. Oh, I'm sorry. Good, Chris. I'm going to interrupt that.
My question, why? How could he risk doing that? I mean, I see the upside to it was he's going to sell more. He's going to sell more coins, right? But the downside of getting busted, if that's not true.
Yeah.
Let's think about it. Think about the legal past of Martin, right? And the stuff that he was involved with before. So is it far-fetched to think that somebody approached him saying, hey, you're going to fabricate this story or try to, just put this out and put your name behind it? Let's just run a few, news cycles to get Barron Trump in there. Like I said, Hunter Biden was the big thing with Joe Biden. Here we have Barron Trump now, messing up the election of Donald Trump. It's a possibility. I mean, I don't think it's too tinfoil hat theory to to think that, it's definitely a possibility.
So last week we talked a lot about which candidate is going to maybe get the crypto vote, and you would think that Trump side actively participating in the space would be a pretty good move to garner some extra votes. There's both sides are now saying well, yeah, I'm pro crypto now. And then you would think this would be the next big move, right? To actually, be part of creating a coin. So what's going on right now with the coin? Why do they want to distance themselves from it? Maybe Brett, do you know what's currently where that coin stands? Is it a rug?
I wouldn't necessarily. Well, it's probably eventually going to be a rug if it doesn't have any association with Trump. It got up to, I believe, at its height around 3.5 cents, and it's down to a little over a penny. So it's crashed by 60, 70, 80%. Which is funny because there was another Trump coin, meme coin out there called MAGA, MAGA was the ticker. As soon as DJT came out, it started tanking and DJT went up. But then after the initial, excitement, DJT started going down, and MAGA has been doing well all week. It's down right now about 6% over the past 24 hours, but in meme coin land, that's nothing. I mean, it goes up 10, 15, 20%, down 10, up 30. I mean, it's all over the place, but MAGA is doing well. So in the grand scheme of things, there's another meme coin that is supposedly not associated with the Trump family that's doing well, better than the meme coin that is supposedly associated with the Trump family. And I'm going to agree with everybody that's on this call right now. I don't think they have any association. They're probably not coming out and saying anything because there's no advantage to denying it, because who knows if anybody's going to believe them. The old, saying that any publicity is good publicity. It's just drawing more attention to the Trump family. I guess at some point, if they needed to denounce it or say they had nothing to do with it, they could do that at any point. But the fact that this guy has Martin, we're talking about, has this history of fraud, and he's been in a bunch of legal challenges himself. Even if the Trump family was hell-bent on creating a meme coin, which I don't think they were, why would they go and choose that guy to be the front or the lead singer of the band, so to speak? Because there's so many question marks and such an illicit past that comes with it. It's not a good look. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's all nuts as far as I'm concerned.
And one more thing to add to that, if you for all those out there listening, if you follow the All In podcast, David Sachs and Chamath Palihapitiya, they did a fundraiser at David Sachs's home. This was back just a few weeks ago, and Trump spoke to the Silicon Valley crypto community. It was a very successful fundraiser. Trump raised $12 million during that fundraiser, and the whole conversation there was very much pro crypto. Trump was basically making promises to the Silicon Valley crowd. And mind you, for those that don't know, I mean, that's largely a very, liberal crowd, out in Silicon Valley. And these folks are quite ticked off because, the Democrats for a long time, and we talked about this on other episodes in the past, where, back in the day, Elizabeth Warren was the one that wanted to just completely shut down crypto in the United States, specifically Bitcoin. But the Democrats have been very much against crypto. Historically speaking. And Trump, man, he's been bullish on it ever since this election cycle. Now, again, rewind time back, he was never against it. He simply didn't know enough about it, right? He was very vocal that he didn't really know a lot about it. But like everything else that we've seen with Trump, he does his research, educates himself, surrounds himself by the right people. And fast forward, now he's doing these fundraiser events. And again, this one was very successful. And from what I heard, again, just watch the All In podcast, where they talk about this crypto fundraiser that David Sachs and Chamath hosted. He was like, Trump was loved, not just by conservatives that were pro crypto, the entire audience that was in there. And it was a very balanced mix up of independents, Republicans, and Democrats. And they just really loved what Trump had to say about his position on crypto. So, I mean, that's very positive. Biden can come around all he wants and say, hey, I'm for it now. But to me, dude, it's all talk. Right? Like, let's put the action to the talk. Are you going to really jump on that? Are you going to be pro crypto if you're reelected? I look at history, and historically speaking, I haven't seen it.
That's it. Thanks everybody for coming out. It's been an exciting, interesting episode 4 of the TribeCast. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next week.